Hey guys, it's Pen Mail Day, and I want to show you something that I purchased today kind of on a whim and totally because of sentimental reasons for myself. Back years ago in the 1990s, I was introduced to the use of fountain pens by the guy who became one of my best friends. And he had a Waterman Phileas. It looked much like this one. As a matter of fact, the pen still exists that he had. And actually, it's at his widow's house. Yeah, my best friend died about 6 years ago. And he had one much like this, a little lighter green. And she still has it. And maybe someday I'll actually get it and clean it up for her and then get a chance to actually use it again. But he let me borrow that one time, and it introduced me to fountain pens. And it became my entrance into the fountain pen world. I'd bought a cheap little pen, and later on I was walking through a store, a Michael's craft store, and I saw one of these, a kit just like this. This particular writing set in the 1990s, somewhere around 96 or 97, retailed for $39.99 US dollars. It is a Waterman Phileas. Like I said, this just showed up today in my mailbox. So let's go ahead and open it up. And it came in a package like this. As it sat on the shelf, it sat in a blister pack with the box open like this. And I do believe that this was down in here. So this is how it showed up, with minor exception, and I'll show you that here in a second. But they usually came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors of ink cartridges and a converter that is not here anymore. It's actually in the pen itself. A bottle of black ink, the open pen, without the cap, and the cap would sit here. This particular one is the one that I bought back in the 1990s because the one that came in this box actually is right here. So because it's inked, I didn't want to lay it here back in the box to show you. But so as you open it up and you pull it out, you've got the blank card here that just says Phileas on it, and you've got a booklet, how to write with a fountain pen. Then you've got a blotter pad. All right, so this is what originally came with the Waterman Phileas. I never kept the original box because who knew that I was going to be that interested in fountain pens some 20 years later. But I went through originally all the cartridges actually that came with it. I knew how to use a cartridge because I had a cartridge pen, and I didn't know how to use a converter at the time. Total mystery to me. Yes, there was a booklet about it, but I'd never done it. So I went through the cartridges. Now these cartridges here, I can tell that at least two of them have never been pierced and used. Instead, there was ink evaporation out of them, and a couple of them had been pierced and used. So I knew that I was going to have to flush out this pen no matter what. And a bottle of black ink, I had used the entire bottle of ink, and then I had ordered some fountain pen ink from eBay back before I knew any better, some cheap Hero blue-black ink, and I still have that here on the shelf. This particular pen here, this one in particular, all right, workhorse pen. In my opinion, one of the top workhorse pens ever. I've been very fortunate that my initial indoctrination into the fountain pen world was this pen right here. Incredibly reliable, good writing pen, took any ink I put through it, took all kinds of abuse. I mean, I didn't clean it properly, I didn't use it properly, and I just would use it till it ran out of ink and just chuck it in a drawer, and then eventually pull it out and fill it back up until I ran out of ink. And it was one of those things that I was surprised that it actually, especially knowing now what I know compared to then, I'm surprised that it really survived. But this pen has done me great over the years. And this will always hold a special place in my heart, being one of my all-time favorite pens, all right? So later on, I eventually got another blue one, and I actually gifted it to somebody who I knew wanted a Phileas. I also found this green one. This green one is actually a fine nib compared to the medium nib in this other one. This green one needs to be cleaned out, by the way. I ran it dry, and I need to clean it along with a bunch of other pens. But this is the one that came today. So I'm going to set this aside. I am not going to do, and I'm not here to give you a full review on the Waterman Phileas. You can check my my YouTube channel if you want to see a full review on them. But I love the Art Deco design. I like that it's a nice acrylic. This one is very well kept over the years. Somebody took great care, probably better care than I took of my own. But the surface of it, not a blemish on it, absolutely perfect. And when I did get it, I did clean it out very well. I went ahead and flushed it, and then I said, well, let's go ahead and run it through my ultrasonic cleaner, and then flushed it out some more till it was perfect. And I said, that's great. Now you can tell this one is a little darker acrylic. So their acrylics are not perfectly identical every single time. You can see that there is a good amount of difference here. And this was supposed to be blue. It says right on the package that it was a blue, and under the right light it does look bluish, but this is a lot darker acrylic than the other. So it's obvious that they didn't just pour one huge batch and make all their Phileases. Why they stopped making them, I don't know. I'm not going to give you the whole history. If you want to see more, go to my other video and you can see more detail. But this was exquisitely taken care of in terms of the physicality of it. But I did, like I said, have to clean it out. That ink converter I told you about is right in here. Interestingly enough, what I decided to try out and put into this particular pen is this right here. If you saw my last pen mail video, this was some old ink, I don't know, 40s, 50s, 60s, don't know, there's no date on it, but it is old Waterman blue washable. So I said, you know, I never had the chance to write with their washable ink, and this bottle is actually still fairly full, and you know, I've seen some cartridges that used to have Waterman's washable blue in it, so I said I wanted to try it, knowing that my Phileas used to take any ink I put through it and without giving me a problem. And by the way, even inks that gave me problems in other pens like a Lamy 2000, Phileas didn't care, loved it, ate it, spit it out back on a page, no problem. So just going to show you a little bit about this particular ink and this particular pen, and I was very pleased. So with my Waterman Phileas, I'm just using an ordinary notepad here on my desk that I use quite a bit throughout the day during my work day. So this is a medium nib, and this is circa 1990s. And this is the Waterman washable blue. So if you can find a Phileas, my advice, go ahead and snatch one up. These are great, very reliable, fit great in the hand, easy to use workhorse pens. In my opinion, still one of my favorites. Still one of the best writing pens I think that Waterman came out with in their modern pen line. Unfortunately, they did go ahead and discontinue these. They were a great price when they first came out. I'm seeing some people charging a heck of a lot more money than I ever paid for them nowadays. I'm seeing these sometimes go for over $100 online, which to me is just ridiculous. If you can find one 50, 60, 65 bucks maybe, which is, you know, about 60 some dollars is what I paid for this entire box. And I wouldn't have done that. I would not have paid that much, quite honestly, because number one, I already had two Phileases as it was. But this also came with the ink and an original box. That's the only reason, for sentimental value, I went ahead and I bought it, because it came with everything you see right here. So I splurged a little bit just because I could, and I got a full, a full writing set box. So I was actually kind of happy with that. So there you go. This is my Waterman Phileas, the latest Phileas to add to the collection. Phileases came out blue, red, and green that I know of, and I can't remember if there was a black or not. But the red was really nice. I actually tried to buy a red not too long ago, but there were some problems with that particular seller I won't get into right now. And I would like to add probably another couple Phileases to my collection because of it. But this is about the 4th Phileas I've ever purchased. Really enjoy the pen. And yeah, it's, to me, like I said, sentimental because it's the first fountain pen that I really ever owned, and quality pen at that. It got me on my fountain pen journey. It was a pen that was introduced by my best buddy and has endured and was my only writer for about 20 years. So I always have a soft spot for the Waterman Phileas. But not only that, it's a fantastic pen. Great value pen. And like I said, great workhorse, reliable pen. I will always love the Waterman Phileas.